Hello, beta. Good evening, everyone. So today I am going to test how much we have, achieved as part of the preparations that we are doing for CUET. The exam is only in 2 days. Let us try to see how many questions we are able to attempt correctly in today's full syllabus test. So full syllabus test 3. Okay, bache. The first question for all of you is this. It says you're given that the consumption function is Ct is equal to 0.6 yt plus 0.3 yt minus 1. And you're given that the investment function is 2.4 yt minus 1. You're also given that the initial level of income in the economy is 40,000. Calculate the rate of growth of output in the economy. Calculate the rate of growth of output in the economy. Please pause your screens for a second. Take a pause. Try to read the question yourself, beta. Try to do it yourself first. And then we will do it together. Okay, beta. Please try to see how to solve this kind of question. In this case, we know that y is equal to c plus I. Y is equal to c plus I. I am given c is 0.6 yt plus 0.3 yt minus 1. And I am given I is 2.4 yt minus yt minus. Right, beta. Let me open this up. 0.6 yt plus 0.3 yt minus 1 plus 2.4 yt minus 2.4 yt minus 1 will be yt. Right? Let me bring all like terms on one side. So this is yt, 0.6 yt, 2.4 yt. So I will bring all of them together. So I will get yt minus 0.6 yt minus 2.4 yt is equal to minus 2.1 yt minus 1. देखो यहाँ पे this is 0.3 yt minus 1, 2.4 yt minus 1. So I will go ahead and get minus 2 yt is equal to minus 2.1 yt minus 1. Now I will put t equal to 0. So I will get minus 2 or t equal to 1 रखते हैं. T equal to 1. So I will get minus 2 y1 is equal to minus 2.1 y1 minus. Right, beta? So from here, I will go ahead and I will get 2y1 is equal to 2.1 y0. So this will give me y1 is equal to 2.1 by 2 y0. So y1 is equal to 1.05 y0. This will be the relationship between y1 and y0. Now what I will go ahead and I will do is I will try to go ahead and I will find out what is the growth rate. And the growth rate of output will be the value of output in period 1 minus period 0 upon period 0 into 100. यही तो growth rate हुआ. So this is going to be 1.05 y0 minus y0 upon y0 into 100. Right? So this is going to be 0.05 into 100 and this will be 5%. So the correct answer for all the students who have marked as 5 is correct. The correct answer to this question will be 5%. Okay, beta. Come to the second question. Question 2 for you test. A function is selected at random from all functions of set and you are given A as a set 1 to n. And A goes to itself. Mane, this is A and I am deriving a function from A to A. The function is defined from A to A. So, this 1, it can be linked to 1, it can be linked to 2, till it can be linked to n. किसी भी एक से link हो सकता है. Same, it can be a many to one function also, no? So 2 values can be linked to 1 also, right? Or it is possible that 1 value is linked to 1. Anything is possible. It can be 1 to 1 also, it can be many to 1 also. क्या बोल रहे हैं बच्चे? It is saying, अच्छा, remember, the property of function is that one value cannot have multiple values. Then it will not be a function. One value can only be linked to one thing on the domain can only be linked to one in the codomain. Huh? So you can't link it to more than one. ये याद रखना है बात को. Huh? Okay, now coming back to the question. So the question is saying that you have this set A and it is linked to itself. What is the probability that the function selected is 1 to 1? So beta, ऐसे questions में there is no time to solve. You should know all the properties. So the property is that the total number of functions which can be generated are n to the power n. When a function goes from A to A, the total number of functions are n to the power n. Right? And the 1-to-1 functions, they are n factorial. तो फेवरेबल नंबर ऑफ फंक्शंस हो जाते हैं n फैक्टोरियल. इसका एक रीजन है, देखो ध्यान से. सपोज आई हैव 3 वैल्यूज 1 2 3 and here I have x y z. So x can be linked to any of the 3 values. Suppose x इससे लिंक हो गया into. Now for it to be a 1-to-1 function, y किसी भी 3 से नहीं लिंक हो सकता है, right? This 2 has to be linked either to x or z. X 2 cannot be linked to y. If 2 will be linked to y, it will be a many-to-one function. But for it to be a 1-to-1 function, 2 can either be linked to x or to z. It means it can be linked to any 2 values. Right? And suppose 2 is linked to x, then 3 can only be linked to z. तभी तो वो 1-to-1 function होगा. So it will only be linked to one value. So cases will be 3 factorial, favorable cases. Right? But what will be total number of cases, bache? Total will be that 1 can be linked to any of the 3 values. 2 can only be linked, also be linked to any of the 3 values. And 3 can also be linked to any of the 3 values. So 3 to the power 3. So total cases are always n to the power n. But favorable cases are n factorial. Right? So now the question is asking, what is the probability of selecting a 1-to-1 function? So it will be n factorial upon n to the power n. So beta, I can write this as n into n minus 1 factorial upon n to the power n. This cancels out. This will be n to the power n minus 1. So this can be written as n minus 1 factorial upon n to the power n minus 1. And this will be the answer to this question. Right, beta? Come to question number 3. Try to do this yourself first. This is saying you have 2 functions g and h. And you are given that g is root of x minus 1. And h is x squared plus 1. You need to go ahead and find out a composite function g of h of x. And tell what that will be. Pause your screens, beta. Try to do this question yourself first. Then I will do this. Okay, let's do this. So now try to see that you have a function gx and hx given to you. And you need to find g of hx. But a lot of times I keep my timer on and I keep looking at the timer to make sure that, the questions given to you are such that they are doable in the given time period. So if I will see my timer, my my aim itself is to do the question within 1 minute, right? Although I start explaining and I take a lot of time, but when I solve the first time, you will always see I have solved it the first time. Why I solve it in advance is to see whether it can be done within a minute or not, right? Because in exam, you have to attempt these questions within a minute. So if I myself, I am not able to attempt it in a minute and it is very difficult to solve, then it is of no use for you guys also. So I keep looking at my timer at all times, right? And that is why I suggest students that DSC level cannot come in exam. DSC doesn't used to not give 75 questions. DSC used to give only 50 questions. Here you have more questions to be done. So per question, the time that you allot will be different. And here the syllabus is also different from DSC. In DSC, in maths, there used to be a topic called matrix. And there are multiple questions on that. It is not going to be there in CUET. So doing DSC paper is a waste of time. Please don't do those. Now, with whoever is suggesting you to do DSC paper is also just trying to deviate you from achieving your path. Don't do it. Please don't listen to anybody at this point of time. Achha, let's come back. So G of h of x. So G of h of x means you have to plug in hx inside gx. So you have to plug this function here. So you will get x square plus 1 minus 1 under root. So x square plus 1 minus 1 under root. So under root of x square, this will be plus minus x. So it can be written by mod of x. It can be written by mod of x, right? So the correct answer to this question will be B. Okay, beta, come to the next question. Try to do this yourself first. Pause your screen, read the question, do it yourself. If an individual deposits a sum of money in the bank, then the amount of traditional credit that the banking system can create is. So the question is asking how much credit the banking system can create. Option number A, a fraction of that sum defined by CRR, a fraction of the reserve defined by SLR, multiple of sum defined by CRR, and none of the above option. So you need to go ahead and tell how much money would be generated by the bank, right? Would it be a fraction of CRR, multiple of CRR, fraction of SLR, or none of the above? Try to think better. Okay. So the correct answer to this question is D, none of the above. When we talk about the multiplier, one way of writing multiplier is 1 by reserve ratio. When we talk about reserve ratio, it includes both cash reserve ratio and statutory liquidity ratio. So multiplier is affected by both CRR and SLR. But none of the option talked about it being a function of the both. या वो CRR बोल रहे हैं या वो SLR बोल रहे हैं. None of the option is saying that it is a function of both of them, right? So therefore the answer will be D, none of the above. Okay, read the next question, beta. Which of the following is true for the government budget? Revenue deficit is lower than budget deficit. Revenue deficit is less than or equal to the budget deficit. Revenue deficit is always more than or equal to the budget deficit, or none of the above. Try to pause your screen, read through the question, try to do this yourself. So try to see that revenue deficit is revenue receipt and expenditure gap. Revenue expenditure or revenue receipt minus revenue payments, right? So revenue expenditure or receipt minus revenue payment is revenue deficit. When I talk about budget deficit, it is revenue deficit plus capital deficit. This deficit in capital account, I can have a surplus also. So I can have capital surplus also. Capital receipt and payment can be equal also. It means it can be zero also. And it can be negative also. That means expenses can be more than the, here I've written expenses here and receipt here, sorry. So expenses can be more than receipt also. Expenses can be less than receipt also. Expenses can be equal to receipt also. So depending on in the capital account, do I have expenses more than receipt, equal to receipt, or less than receipt? It can be positive, negative, or zero. Accordingly, the relation between budget deficit and revenue deficit can be anywhere around. My budget deficit can be more than revenue deficit. It can be less than revenue deficit. It can be equal to revenue deficit. So I cannot go ahead and give one direction as to where this, what kind of relationship will exist. I cannot go ahead and tell that, right? So accordingly, the answer to this question will be none. I cannot tell that out of these, which one would be true. Any one is possible, right? So none of the above will be true. Okay, beta, come to the next question. It says X and Y are random variable and variance of X is 2 and Y is 4 and covariance is 2. And W is given as 2X plus 3Y. Then the variance of W will be, again, pause your screen for a second. Try to do this question yourself. Then I will do it. So you are given W is equal to 2X plus 3Y. You need to go ahead and find the variance of W. Try to understand that the variance of AX plus BY is A square variance of X plus B square variance of Y plus 2AB covariance of XY. Plus minus, depending on what you get here. And if X and Y are independent, then this will be 0. So on that basis, if I just try to solve this, this will be A square. That means 4 variance of X plus B square, 9 variance of Y plus 2AB covariance of X. Covariance of XY. If I just try to plug this in, beta, 4 variance of X plus 9 variance of Y plus 2 into 2, 4 into 3, 12 covariance of XY. This will be 8 plus 36 plus 24, 68. Right? So the correct answer to this question will be 68. Right, beta? Okay, beta. So this is it that I wanted to go ahead and discuss today. And I hope that you have done the maximum questions correctly. And you should be allocating the last 2 days to your revision and to practicing the maximum questions possible, right? The more kind of questions you will see in the last 2 days, the more confident you will be in the exam, right, beta? Okay, thank you.